Woohoo! 10.7, interpret the discriminant. Okay, today we're going to talk about what the discriminant is. And actually, this isn't anything new. We're going to start with the quadratic formula, which I'm sure you all have memorized right now. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And the discriminant is just that part underneath the square root, just this b squared minus 4ac. So that right there is what is going to be the discriminant. And what this discriminant is going to tell us is it's going to tell us the number of solutions that a quadratic formula or a quadratic equation is going to have. We can call them solutions, x-intercepts, zeros, roots. All of these things mean the same thing. We're going to go ahead and list them all on here so that you have them and you know that we can use them interchangeably. And this will tell us how many solutions there are. Using what we know about square roots, the number is going to depend on whether the discriminant is positive, negative, or zero. But instead of writing positive or negative or zero, we're going to go ahead and use some fancy math terms. So if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, which of course would mean that it's positive, that means we are going to have two solutions. That should be a 0, shouldn't it, Cash? Oh yeah, she's trying to keep me on my toes here. If we have b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, then we will have one solution. And if we have b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, so it would be negative, we'll have no solutions. And if we think about that, that makes sense, because if we're trying to take the square root of a negative number, we're not able to do that. Let's go ahead and make a little sketch so we know what our graph would look like. So if we were to have a positive discriminant, we're going to have two solutions, and we'll see that we have two zeros that's crossing at two different spots. Could be upside down or right side up. If we have a discriminant of 0, we're trying to take the square root of 0, it's just 0, we're only going to have one solution, which means we'll have 1, 0, 1 intercept, and it'll just hit right on the axis. And if we have a negative discriminant and no solutions, our parabola will just be floating off, up, and away by itself and not crossing that x-axis. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple of practice problems, and we'll be on our way. Whoa, we went too far. This computer. Okay, so we're going to first start with determine how many solutions the equation has. So we see it's set equal to 0, so let's identify A, B, and C. It's very important that we're using the correct signs here, otherwise we're going to mess up our answers. So A is going to be 25 because it's with x squared. B is going to be negative 16 because it's with x. We don't have a C value, so we're going to say that that value is 0. It's important that you know that that's a 0 and it's not 1 or something made up. Then we're just going to plug it into b squared minus 4ac. So we'll do negative 16 squared. Oh, that square root sign's not supposed to be there. I'm a little carried away wanting to do the quadratic formula like a crazy lady. Okay, so we'll just start with b squared, so negative 16 squared minus 4 times 25 times 0. When we do negative 16 squared, negative 16 times negative 16 is going to be 256. And then 4 times 25 times 0 is going to give us 0. So we have 256. This is the value of our discriminant. Now what we need to look at is this number is positive. It's greater than 0. So the answer to our question is going to be it has two solutions. So today we're really interpreting what we're using, and we're not so much worried about that 256 or what the solutions are. We just want to know there's two solutions. All right, let's look at number 2. We've got a whole big mess here. 8x squared plus 9 equals 4x squared minus 4x plus 8. We of course need to first set this equal to 0, so let's rearrange some things, and we're going to subtract 4x squared And we know a lot of you don't want to show all of your work, but this might be a good time to get in the habit of it so we don't make any mistakes with our signs. So we're subtracting 4x squared, then we're going to subtract 4x and 8. So we have 8x squared minus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now that we're in this form, we can go ahead and label A is equal to 8, B is equal to negative 4, and C is equal to 1. So we can go ahead and plug it into our discriminant formula, B squared minus 4AC. So we'll do negative 4 squared minus 4 times 8 times 1. We'll have 16 minus 4 times 8 is going to give us 32 times 1, which will just give us 32. So we'll have 16 minus 32, which is going to give us negative 16. Again, we're now interpreting this. This is a negative number, so this means we are going to have no solutions. Number 3. We're going to find the number of x-intercepts. All we did here is we went ahead and changed the language that we are using, but we're still doing the same thing. We're still using the discriminant to determine our number of zeros. So we'll have that A, B, and C for this number 3 is all going to be equal to 1. So we'll plug that in. B squared will be 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1. 1 minus 4 is going to give us negative 3. Again, we have a negative number, so we're going to have no solutions. For number 4, negative 2x squared plus 8x minus 4. We'll plug in A, B, and C. Negative 2, 8, and negative 4. We'll plug those into our discriminant. 8 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 4. We'll have 64. We have to be careful here. Negative 4 times negative 2 times negative 4 is going to give us a negative 32. So 64 minus 32 will give us a positive 32. That's a positive number, so we're going to have 2 solutions. This is all we're going to look at from section 10.7. Now, I have a challenge for you. We have made a very slight and small error that is going to make one of these questions wrong. I will be awarding some fabulous prizes in the term of a bonus point if you can find that mistake. We'll see you tomorrow.